Right now with more is former New Hampshire Governor John Sununu, Cheryl Casone, and Dagen Mcdowell joining us as well. Governor Sununu, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. What's your take on this controversy?
Well, it's going to linger. I mean, this is not going to come to a quick solution, and I think to Mrs. Clinton's detriment in the campaign, it has already undermined her credibility with the voters. Most voters see her as an untrustworthy person right now. It's about 60%. It'll continue to weigh on her, but I don't think it's going to come to some magic end with an indictment or anything.
Right, so that's why she continues to rise in the polls. I'm wondering what your take is in terms of the GOP, lineup versus Hillary in a general election, rather.
Well, look, your debate got the candidates talking about the differences amongst themselves on issues. And I think that's what the voters are going to start looking at. They're going to start looking at issues and electability. And I think they're going to begin to understand that they're going to have to put somebody in the White House that can do the job when they get there. That combination is what they're going to stack up against Hillary. As you remember, one of the moderators read her resume and got a little bit of a response. But she's not going to get elected on her resume. She's going to get elected or not elected on the basis of what she can and can't do for the country, and I think she falls far short of virtually all the Republicans on that issue.
Which is why I want to point out what Ted Cruz said about it, because when I first asked Marco Rubio, look, if you are the nominee, you're going to face an impressive resume, and then the audience reacted. They booed. They did not want to hear about Hillary Clinton. But look, Governor, I mean, the bottom line is this is the question that everybody wants answered. Who on that stage can beat Hillary Clinton? Do we have that soundbite, Tom, of Ted Cruz? I want to play it for the governor to hear how Ted Cruz answered. Because Marco Rubio said, look, it's a new day. But then here's what Ted Cruz said. He just jumped right in, Governor. Listen to this. Okay, we're trying to get that soundbite, Governor, but he basically said, yes, she might have experience, but her policies were horrible.
That's right, and that's what the Republicans will run against. They're not going to run against the paper resume of the past. They're going to run against her policies, her programs, and what she's saying she's going to do to the country. And I think that's where the voters will make a serious decision. And I think the voters want somebody to fix the debt in the country. They want somebody to fix foreign policy and the disaster we have around the world. And they want somebody, in fact, to fix the mess that Obama and Clinton have put the country into.
Yeah, I want to get Dagen McDowell's comments in a moment, but listen to the soundbite right now, Governor. Here we go.
Thank you.
And Maria, I will note, she's got a lot of experience, but her policies have proven disastrous. If you look at foreign policy, every region on the world has gotten worse. Under her leadership, we abandoned the nation of Israel. Under her leadership, radical Islamic terrorism has been under the rise. Under her leadership and Obama's leadership, Iran is getting $100 billion and on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon. Everything she's put her hand to is touched. And when we talk about the cronyism of Washington, Hillary Clinton embodies the cronyism of Washington.
And there you had the reaction, a bigger reaction. Yeah,
and that's what they're going to run against. Republicans will run against.
And it's interesting, Dagen McDowell, because now you're seeing a little shift, a nuance on the campaign trail. The candidates are focusing less on each other and more on the prize, and more on who are they going to face come November.
And that was a very effective strategy for Chris Christie in that first debate. He clearly went in there with that in mind, that I'm going to talk about taking on Hillary Clinton, and that's why he stood out over the other three candidates he was on the stage with. Let's point out, if this FBI investigation is hanging over this person's head into next year, as the election season picks up even more steam, so maybe her campaign can put together some great granny off the cliff ads when they try to reform entitlements and when we get more detail on that. But how about a video or an ad made up of just the Benghazi hearing testimony? And how about all you have to mention is FBI investigation. Right. There you go.
And Maria, I want to add something, because I've been digging into the reporting that we've been doing here, and what they're doing here is they're going to go after false statements. And the FBI is doing this independently because they got sick of the State Department basically stonewalling them. I think this is bad for Hillary Clinton, because they're going to go to her attorney, her aides, and to her. Any false statements with regards to those emails is an indictable offense against the government. Yeah. And this is not going away.
Sent Martha Stewart to jail.
Governor, how do you see it? How do you see it, Governor?
I see she's got a problem, but she does have a following that no matter what she's done will stick with her. She's got about a 35 or 40% base there. The middle 10, 20% of the voters are going to have to decide, and right now they're anti-Hillary Clinton on the basis of trustworthiness and a disaster of policy, and that's what Republicans will run on. Now the voters on the Republican side have to start sorting out which Republican can bring that message most effectively and which Republican can be a good president. That's what the rest of this primary season is going to be like, and then when you get to April, they'll start, whoever's the nominee will start pounding her.
Any standouts for you at that debate, Governor? Who came across best in terms of economic issues? You know, we focused on jobs, we focused on wages, debt and deficits. Who made the mark?
I think certainly people are talking about what Rubio did and the exchange with Rand Paul. Some of the folks like what Cruz did. But I think the one that got the most out of the debate that he needed to get was really Bush. He put himself back into the mix. It doesn't mean he won the debate, but he did enough to get himself back into the mix. And once he's in the mix again, as I think he is now, then the might, if you will, of his campaign war chest can be utilized effectively. So I think there's going to be a very different campaign for the next month amongst about those four folks trying to topple the top leaders of Trump and Carson. I think Trump and Carson began to wear a little thin in the debate, and I think voters are taking a second look.
Really? Do you agree, ladies?
I think that what Bush and Governor Sununu to what's going on in New Hampshire, drug addiction is a huge issue in New Hampshire. According to one recent poll, it was the top issue for voters in that state. And Governor Bush is now starting to talk about his own daughter's struggles with drug addiction. And I think that goes a long way to humanizing this candidate, to making him different than his brother and his father, and letting people know that he has a family and that he comes from a very real place. I've heard him speak about it. I think this could be incredibly effective.
Maria, I do think, though, real quick, though, that he might have some funding issues. There's a lot of talk about people looking to now look for other donors to donate money besides Bush, but to going to other candidates. So that's going to be a problem for him.
It does come down to money, oftentimes. Governor Sununu, good to see you. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you, Maria. Have a great day.
And to you. We'll see you soon.